This time we are invited to a new place in Songshan, also in Taipei, and blinds are 20, 40, and we each buy in 10,000, 250 big blinds, and just like usual, there's drinks where I play. In this place, the Taiwan Go beer is all you can drink. Let's see how that has influenced the gameplay. In the beginning half an hour, we have already seen a straight flush, several full houses, and one four of a kind being dealt. I began to wonder, man, am I in a computer game? Let's see what more interesting hands there are.
We started out as 5 players. Again, the blinds were 20-40. So the under the gun player opened to 140. They all folded to the small blind. The small blind and the big blind both called 140. So the pot was 420. The flop came 5-5-4 with 2 diamonds. The small and big blind both checked. Under the gun player bet 200 and everybody called. The pot was then 1020. The turn came the ace of diamond, so the obvious flush has arrived. Now the big blind came out and dunked 500, about half pot, but the under the gun player wasted no time and raised it up to 1200. The big blind quickly made the call. I noticed that people in this game act very fast. Maybe that's the effect of the Taiwan Go beer we're drinking. So the pot was 3420. And the river came yet another diamond. It came the 9 of diamond. So there are 4 diamonds on the board. Now the big blind decided to check. However, the under the gun player bet 1000. So at this point, it was seen that the under the gun player was not afraid of the diamond. He was not afraid of the flush. He either had big diamonds himself, like the king queen of diamonds, or he had a set which had transformed into a full house. The big blind called the 1000. He flipped over 8-7 of diamonds. So he did have a flush, just not a big one. The under the gun player flipped over pocket aces. So he turned a full house and he took down the pot. Now the big blind was the owner of the house and he had been drinking really fast right from the beginning. Let's call him Easy because he's really easygoing. So I guess the river card kind of saved Easy. A 4th diamond on the board. Otherwise, Easy might have raised and really got himself into trouble. I'm not sure, however, if the under the gun player raising the turn was a good idea. Indeed, he got maximum value for his full house. But maybe there were better actions to take. Please leave a message under the video and let me know if you think the under the gun player should not have raised on the turn and why.
The very next hand, EO folded to the bottom. The bottom opened to 140, and both the small blind and the big blind made the call. The pot was 420. The flop came ace-7-4 with 2 diamonds. It once again checked to the bottom. The bottom decided to bet 300, a little more than 2/3 of the pot, and only the big blind made the call. The pot was 1020. The turn came the jack of clubs, and the bottom keeps betting. He bet 800, also quite big, and the big blind made the call. So I was thinking both players maybe had an ace, maybe one of them was on a flush draw. So the river came the 7 of diamonds. So the flush has arrived, and both the big blind and the bottom quickly checked. Now the big blind flipped over ace queen offsuit. So he had top pair all alone and a very good kicker. In a 5-player game, on the big blind facing a button open, I think it's okay to just call with ace queen offsuit to balance most of the hands that he would just call with on the big blind. And then check calling 3 streets on an ace high board seemed reasonable as well because it wasn't easy for his opponent to guess that he had also an ace with a really good kicker. Just when we thought the big blind's ace queen offsuit was good, the bottom flipped over ace jack of hearts. So he turned the top 2 pair on the turn and took down the pot. Now, if I were the bottom, I would bet small on the river instead of just checking because I think I can get some smaller aces to call. True, there's the obvious flush and the 7 paired on the board, But I think in games with smaller stakes, such as this one, a lot of players would just dunk on the river if they actually have a set, which was turned into a full house, or if they have a big flush like King Jack of Diamonds. And since the big blind didn't dunk, the top two pair was most likely good. And even if they did have a really strong hand and raise me, I could always fold. But I'm drinking Taiwan goat beer when I'm playing, so you can just ignore me. After a few rounds, I looked down at pocket jacks on the big blind. The under the gun player limped, so did the cutoff and the bottom. Some people would say a fast way to decide if a game is full of fish is to look at how many players limp on a regular basis. Well, I guess this is one of those places. So with jacks and a lot of limpers before us, we raised it up to 200, and only the under the gun player called. The pot was 500. The flop came King 6-3 all clubs. I don't like this kind of board, especially that I don't have any club. I decided to bet small, 160, which was 1/3 of the pot. Hopefully I can get him to fold any hand without a club. The under the gun player made the call, so I guess he either had a king, a small to medium pocket pair, or some kind of one club holdings. The pot was 820. The turn came the 3 of diamonds, pairing the 3 on the flop. I don't think this card changed anything, but decided to go on defense. I checked. Under the gun player now bet 280, also 1/3 of the pot. I made the call. The river came a card I did not want to see at all. It came the ace of diamonds. Now if he had the ace of clubs, he made top pair. And he could also have a6, a3, those type of hands. I checked once again, and under the gun bet 800 this time. There's not much that I could beat, so I decided to fold. And the under the gun player was kind enough to show me ace-5 with the ace of clubs. Now looking back, sober, I think I should have continued betting, bet big on the turn. If he's on a flush draw, a big bet should get anything other than the ace of club out of the way. That way, if the club did not land on the river, nor did any ace, I could just check, call a bet, and win the pot most of the time. But again, that's just me. Feel free to leave a message and let me know if you have better ideas.
There goes the 7th video. One of the reasons I started this channel is to examine hands, try to play better so I don't stay a fish forever. If you are a fish as well, maybe we can try to get better together. Leave a message, let me know what you think about the hands. Subscribe if you like my channel. I will see you next time.